of the free.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Finlandia Foundation in Conversation, where we talk with interesting Finns and Finnish Americans. I'm your host, Maria Voltaine. Today's guest is the lead singer and multi-instrumentalist of one of the most popular bands to come out of Finland in recent years. They went viral with their rendition of ACDC's Thunderstruck, played in a bluegrass hillbilly style. The video has now been seen nearly 124 million times. The band is fully established now with 4 studio albums. They've been writing their own music and touring regularly. I am so excited to welcome Remmel from Steve N Seagulls to the program. Welcome, Remmel. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you very much. Nice to be here.
Yeah, I've been hearing so much about you guys. And nowadays when people ask me where I'm from and I say Finland, and it used to be that they'd ask about Nightwish. But nowadays it's also, have you heard of Steve N Seagulls? So yeah, I'm very excited to get to talk to you today. And I know you're very busy. But I wanted to start from the very beginning. Where are you from in Finland, and how did you get your start in music?
Well, my path, personally, I'm from Iisalmi, which is about 6 hours north from the capital, Helsinki. And I got into music from home, listening to my parents' LPs, and my dad played guitar a little bit, so I picked guitar after him. And my older brother played drums, so I tried to play drums a little bit. And then when we were, I think, at the 7th grade, we started our first band. And when I was a young kid, early 90s, my hometown is quite small, so there was not much to do other than play sports and play music. So I kind of did both. So that's kind of how I got into music. And after army, I moved to Jyväskylä, which is in the central Finland. And over there, we met each other, and we played in different groups. And this band was formed originally 2010 by 5 guys. 2 of them have now quit the band, so I joined in 2013. We were all studying in Jyväskylä. We are originally from different parts of Finland, but we all moved to Jyväskylä somewhere around early 2000s or so. So that's, in a nutshell, that's how we got together.
Who came up with the name, the band name?
Actually, that's nobody from the band. Actually, our banjo player's girlfriend came up with the name for the band. There were numerous different proposals, but they were, I guess this one was the one that we felt that is a proper name for a band like this. So
that's cool. So it still stays in the family. So speaking of the band, what are the names of all the members and what do they play?
Okay. We have Skubu, who plays the drums and percussions and does some vocals too. And then on the bass, we have Jampa. He plays double bass mainly, some violin. And on the latest album, he also played numerous different string instruments. And then there is Hiltunen. He's our man of many instruments. He plays accordion, flute, organ, mandolin. What else? He's the only one who doesn't sing, so he plays a lot of different instruments. And then there's Herman, who plays the banjo and acoustic guitar, and he also does vocals. And then there's me. I play acoustic guitar, mandolin, and this Russian instrument called balalaika, and I also do vocals.
Everyone's an extremely talented musician in so many different ways. This may not always come across because some of the videos are silly, but there's a lot that goes into those arrangements. And those are complicated parts that everyone's playing, and various instruments and trying to combine all that, and takes a lot of skill and mastery to not only be able to play them, but even to come up with them in the first place. So I've been really impressed with all that. Do you all have formal musical training?
I'm the only one who doesn't actually have like an education for music. I studied early education, and I've been just learning by doing, basically. All the other guys, they have some sort of a degree in music. And I think it helps a lot that there's actually 5 people in our band that are from, well, not completely, but we have a lot of different background in music. Some of us have a background in choir music. Some have in classical music. Our bass player has been really into jazz, and maybe I'm more from the rock side of the band, or sort of a roots kind of guy. So
clearly you found what works and your own style. So how did you end up doing bluegrass arrangements of these songs? How did that style come about?
Well, I feel that it has evolved during the years. When the band started, it was more like spaghetti western, or sort of not country western, but there was a lot of different influences in there too. There was a little bit of electric guitar, maybe something familiar from like western movies and stuff like that. And I think it was around 2013, 2014, we made a couple of our first videos, which were actually meant just for our Finnish booking agent to book us more gigs. So we felt it was easier to make a couple of videos other than, write a whole sheet of paper saying we play this kind of music and blah, blah, blah. So, but anyway, I think it evolved towards more and more acoustic sound around 2013 and 14. And the basis why we kind of end up with this sort of instrumentation is that one of the core things, or the main things in the band, is to kind of bring in new kinds of sounds and new kinds of instruments. So the banjo has been there all the way from the beginning. So that's one thing that kind of brings in the bluegrass type of sound. And of course also mandolin, upright bass. But then we blend in some accordion, drums, keyboards and stuff like that. So, but I think there's to answer your question, actually, I think the sound or the style just evolved little by little, and just by trying stuff and trying to figure out how to play maybe a little bit not aggressive music, but kind of how to play acoustic music that has a little bit more punch than it usually has, so people can maybe dance. Or sometimes we play in heavy metal festivals where people do mosh pits and stuff like that. So I guess we kind of wanted to bring some aggressiveness and punch to acoustic music. So.
And clearly people are responding to your sound positively and in droves. And your first video is The Trooper by Iron Maiden, if I understand correctly. And then Thunderstruck was the one that really took off. But in none of these cases, the intention wasn't for this to reach large audiences, just to get a reference for your booking agent so he can showcase the kind of music you're making. And so it looks like you created these videos with just one camera, playing it through a single time, once through, and then that's it. No major editing. And so it's pretty interesting that these simple videos are the ones that took off then. So can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, the first video was, as you said, it was The Trooper by Iron Maiden, and we just went to our banjo players' summer cabin, and we had seen some, or we had kind of tried to figure out how to describe the band, and we thought that, well, let's shoot a video and let's make it kind of let's make it so that people actually can hear what we sound like. So, as you said, no major editing or anything. We had our friend come over. He had a camera along, and actually the first two videos were shot so that we didn't even have a separate mic. It was just a camera, microphone, and a camera. And Thunderstruck was our third video, so we upgraded a little bit. We had an extra microphone on that one. But all those videos are, they're one take, and the audio is played at place also. We felt it was a good way to kind of be honest that, this is how it sounds, and maybe that style kind of suited the whole style of the band and the sound of the band also. It was kind of rough and not really polished or anything like that.
And clearly it's working, and whatever it is that you guys tapped into is a big deal. The last time I looked, the ACDC Thunderstruck had almost 124 million views. That's insane. You guys are everywhere now, and I don't think there's probably a place in this planet where you could go when people haven't heard of you. So tell us a little bit about how that all has happened.
I remember being in a bar. I think it was maybe a night after we posted the video in YouTube, and I was kind of checking into it a couple of times that night, and there was maybe 5,000-6,000 views, and I was like, well, this is kind of going pretty fast. And I guess those first videos just kind of ended up at some websites, like Iron Maiden fan pages, ACDC. People that like ACDC just started sharing the Thunderstruck video, and suddenly big music magazines and webzines like Revolver, stuff like that, they started sharing that video. And I don't know, I to be honest, I still have no idea, and I don't know why people started to share it that that widely and everywhere. Maybe it was something that they found funny, or they thought it was maybe easy to approach. We started getting a lot of messages through Facebook and everything. Like, they were asking if we could come and play at their church and everything like that. And people didn't actually even know where we are from, which is still kind of cool. People keep asking us where we're from. So, but yeah, it took us by surprise. We didn't expect anything like that. We thought that we'll just get a little bit more gigs in Finland or something like that. So it was pretty crazy when it started to go really viral. And yeah, I don't know how things like that happen. I guess they happen by accident usually.
I guess no one really knows why some things take off and others don't. And, there's just something about that music and what you're doing that just resonates with people. How else are you going to put it? It just works. And you've tackled some of the masterpieces of rock music, like Black Dog by Led Zeppelin or November Rain by Guns N' Roses, and done an amazing job with these songs that are universally kind of seen as some of these like very difficult pieces to play. and you still made them your own, and then also what you did with I Was Made for Loving You by Kiss, which, you know, could have been like a banjo, you know, like fast-paced rah type of song, but instead you slowed it down and made it into something much more sultry and, you know, slower, and I thought that was really interesting what you did with that, and an interesting twist. And that just plays into also the sheer level of musicianship and what goes into your development of your craft. So I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about what goes into what you do, your song selection, and why you choose the songs you do. You'd like to talk about that a little bit?
I think at first we picked a lot of stuff that was something that we used to listen to as kids, or when we were on our youth. A lot of songs on the first album were kind of picked in a way that, well, let's try this one. And I guess it still goes like that. Somebody comes up with an idea that, oh, I remember this one song that I've been listening to for, I don't know, 20 years or 25 years, and maybe starts to play around with the riff or the verse or one piece of the song, and I suppose that for some reason everybody in the band has a genuine interest in music and different songs, how to find like new way to approach a certain song or a certain instrument. So I guess that's one of the sort of things for us that we want to maybe find like new angles to approach songs. Or even when we are writing on the last two albums, we've had some original tracks also. So when we are writing or arranging tracks, I guess we have an urge or something like that drives us to kind of explore with music, and we want to show our appreciation towards like these really classic tracks or really amazing bands and stuff like that. So we don't want to make fun out of any of those, but for some reason when you take a thrash metal song and start to play it with a mandolin, it kind of dresses the song in a funny outfit in a way. And
or the way you dress, you know, like your actual outfits. I think that really adds to a lot of the fun there. I mean, you guys really go all out.
Yeah, I guess some people have asked us that who is our stylist or something, and I can tell you now, everybody, we don't have a stylist. I usually dress on a clothes that are worn out so that I cannot wear them out in public that much. So if I have like old pair of jeans that they're kind of worn out, I just take my scissors and shorten them up a little bit or something like that. So we can do a lot of stuff around the music and have fun and goof off. But then on the other hand, every time we go and play live, we work really hard so that our live sound is really good, that we play as well as we can, but everything else around that, you can just kind of let yourself loose. So there's a lot of fun sides to this band, even as a member. So
yeah, and you mentioned briefly your original songs, and I've listened to a bunch of them, and I was really impressed with them as well. Like, those are some amazing songs, and my favorite is Sweet Maria. I actually really like that song, not just because it's named after me, but I thought that even though it's like an amazing song, and there was a twist there too. It's not about a woman at all, like you'd think maybe, you know, going into the song. It's about a boat. I cracked up from that. I thought that was awesome. And then also one of the other songs that I really kind of stood out for me is Lion Tamer. So you come up with these songs that are great songs in their own right, and then you have these interesting themes. So what is the process for you when you're making your own songs, and how do you come up with this? They're not just like regular love songs or kind of songs you hear everywhere else. There's always there seems to be like a twist to these. So I'd like to hear about your process a little more.
That's a good question. I think we struggled a lot at first when we started to write original tracks, because we didn't kind of know that what kind of band we are actually writing the songs for, because we had been playing hard rock, metal tracks, whatever, with acoustic instruments, and just hammering around the live shows and stuff like that. So I guess we kind of, when we are writing original tracks, we also want to keep the kind of the boundaries as wide as possible. So there might be weird topics. On every album that we have chosen the songs, we just want to make as good of an album as we can. I don't even remember what was the actual question.
No, just about the process of how you create your songs, because they are really unique. They don't necessarily follow the same trajectory as a lot of regular songs, and like the topics and such. So yeah, just the process.
I think the process is quite similar when it comes to original track or arranging a cover song. Usually it goes so that somebody makes a little demo with the phone, or records something at home or whatever he wants to do, and we have like a folder that everybody just keeps downloading stuff there, and we listen to those demos and tracks, and then we get together, usually into a cabin or something like that. We have plenty of those in Finland, and we go there for a couple of days, and we just start listening to these demos and short bits of songs, and then everybody starts kind of pouring their ideas in there, that let's try this sort of beat on top of this riff. And some of the demos are actually, they might sound like a song already, but then they might change a lot when we are arranging together. So usually it goes from one guy doing something, and then we start pouring in ideas, all five of us. So it's actually pretty fun. I enjoy the arranging part a lot, because it's just a couple of days just focusing on music, nothing else. So I feel that that's pretty cool that we can actually do that for a living. So, but that's how it goes usually on every song, that somebody gets an idea, and then we start working around the idea.
So you mentioned these cabins, and I've been thinking, and watching your videos, it's almost like an advertisement for Finland. All these places and locations that you film at, you have amazing looking rustic cabins and farm life footage. Then you've been in those igloos in Lapland, where they have the glass ceilings so that you can watch the auroras. You have footage from the ski jump area, the ski races, and the women's national ice hockey team takes you on. All of these cool places, just in addition to the regular nature, which is of course gorgeous. So do these all come from somebody in the band that somebody just happens to have access to, or where do you come up with your locations?
Yeah, a lot of the videos that we've made somewhere in the Finnish countryside, there's a lot of locations that are from our accordion player's home farm. A lot of the ideas, or most of the ideas and locations, come from the band, and then the sports videos The hockey one was just I think one of us came up with an idea that let's this sounds like a song that we could play hockey, and then we were like, well, let's ask the Finnish women's national team to come and play against us. And the ski jumping one or the ski race one was a friend of mine, Ilkka, is in the Finnish national team of Nordic combined, and we were just I don't remember what we were doing. We were probably, he's a musician also, so we were maybe recording something or whatever, and we started to, play around with the idea that maybe we should do something together, their team and our band. And so that's kind of how that came along. And there has been a couple of videos that we have made with a company or something like that they might have had an idea that if we want to do a video, but let's say that at least 90% of them are just our ideas. We spend a lot of time in a van and tour bus, so we have plenty of time to have ideas that never get that you can never use anywhere, and then maybe like 5% are actually the ones that you can actually work around. So yeah, we've never had a location manager or anything like that. We live in different parts or different kind of environments, all 5 of us, so it's kind of easy to find places. Usually it's our sound guy who does the recording, especially because at least half of our videos are made in a way that the audio track is recorded live there also. So he's always struggling like, guys, there's a lake behind us, there's going to be a lot of wind and stuff like that. So he's been struggling a couple of times, but I guess it's all part of the band that there's a lot of kind of sketchy stuff going on and stuff like that. But yeah.
So I was going to ask about you touring. I know you've been in LA at least twice, and that I know of. And so I wanted to know if there are any fun or interesting stories that happened to you along the way when you've been touring in the US.
Well, we've done actually, I think we've done 7 tours in US. And
7?
Because yeah.
Where have I been?
And because it's, well, we've been to LA, like you said, maybe twice. No, we've been there 3 times. Well, anyway, because it's such a large place to tour, we usually do like a tour in the East Coast and the Midwest, something like that. And that takes like, I don't think in any part of the year we don't have a possibility to be there for like 2 months. So that's kind of why we do them usually in 2 parts. But I guess there's a lot of, I don't know, fun stories, but stories. We've had broken buses a couple of times, and but we've had people bring us moonshine for gifts, and what that leads into, and and we played in this logging congress a couple of times, and those can be really interesting, a lot of fun. Yeah, there's been a lot of stuff like that, but I guess we are kind of a boring band in a way that we kind of like to drink beer and have a good time, but we don't get into any trouble or anything like that. And but I mean, there's probably been plenty of weird stuff going on. I just can't remember most of them right now. Maybe there's a reason for that. But I mean, yeah, of course, everybody says this, but it's actually true that we really enjoyed the US tours because you can actually tour for 4 weeks and go from this totally different kind of landscape from the Midwest. You can go to the mountains, and then you head to the East Coast, and then you start going down south, and you live there, so but but it's always a lot of fun. It's at first it's a little stressful, but then when you kind of settle in to the bus and you know kind of get into the mood, then it's just you know having a good time with a bunch of people. So.
Do you have a favorite place to tour? Like, do you have a favorite state? I know that might be a little bit to say that about, you know, but to single somebody out as, you know, being your favorite, but.
It's kind of hard to say because there's, it's kind of like touring in Europe because, you know, people are a bit different in, let's say, in Oregon than in Pennsylvania or but I don't know if I have or if we have a favorite state or anything, but there's been a lot of like just beautiful places like the Appalachia what is that mountain?
Appalachia.
Mountains over there, and Oregon is beautiful. Montana was really beautiful. Of course the whole West Coast has like a really nice feel to it, and large cities can be pretty troubling when you're traveling in a large vehicle. It's kind of hard to find a parking spot in the middle of Manhattan, or LA has been not easy, but a little bit easier because you're not usually playing like in the middle of the city. So, but it's really hard to say with like a favorite state or anything like that. Of course, the upper peninsula in
Michigan.
Michigan. Yeah, all those areas, Minnesota, Wisconsin. There's a lot of Scandinavian roots and Finnish roots there, so people are really like kind of happy to have a beer or two and just kind of chat about Finland and maybe their background, our background, and all the history up there. That's a lot of fun actually. People seem to be like really proud of their Scandinavian roots there, and they find that like really important that they can kind of keep that heritage alive. So those places are always really nice to visit, and yeah, it's a huge place, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. So I wish we can get back there as soon as possible. Maybe next year. We had plans to tour in US and Canada this year, but it's not going to happen. So maybe 22.
Your music is very American in some ways, I feel like, with the bluegrass, but also very Finnish at the same time. A lot of us Finnish Americans, we have that mixed. We're very Finnish and then very American at the same time. So I think your music is kind
well,
of that way.
First, thank you. It's really nice to hear that. But yeah, maybe we've gotten a lot of feedback from people that because of course the bluegrass and blues music is kind of the folk music in US, has long like there's a lot of history in bluegrass music there. So at first when we came there for our first tour, we thought that we might get a little bit like feedback that, you know, this is not the proper way to do this, or, you know, something like that. But actually we've gotten a lot of like good feedback from the fact that it's something new that has like it's influenced by bluegrass and those instruments, but then there's kind of a new or different view to all that. So people also find it kind of refreshing, and in a way they're really happy about that too. So that's been really nice to hear also.
So you have started a new show called Seagull's Nest, where you meet different Finnish musicians, play some songs and have some fun and games. Like Sami Jaffa was there from the New York
Yep.
Dolls, Timo Kotipelto from Stradivarius. how did that idea come about? And can you tell us a little bit about the show?
Yeah, to be honest about the idea, we were in Seinäjoki, which is in the western part of Finland. That was last fall. I don't remember the month, but we were able to tour in Finland a little bit last summer. And towards the fall, we started feeling like, all the COVID it's just picking up again, and it's probably going to be the end of touring. We were a little bummed. We went to a bar after the show and got happy about that. And we just started, I don't even remember who it was who had an idea that let's make a music video in a tree house or something like that. And then we sat down, started to throw around ideas that maybe if we want to play in a tree house, we might want to build one, because we actually have to have one big enough to be able to play music in there. And then we started having ideas that if we build that, let's do something else with it also. And in the end, we had an idea of some sort of a venue or a tree house of some kind that we could maybe make a series of videos like this, that we could have people that we know or people that we've heard of and people who might want to come there to visit us, and we could play music together, and in the meantime do like interviews and stuff like that. So that's how the idea got started. And yeah, the first season has 6 episodes, and we've released 4 now, I think. And it's just 20 to 30 minutes per episode, and there's usually 2 songs. The visiting musician usually selects the songs. There's usually one from their band or their career, and then one like favorite song or whatever he or she wants to sing or play. And then we have different activities. Sometimes we kind of ask from the visitor that what kind of hobbies do you have? We might have something like that. And for example, when Sami Elbana was from Lost Society, which is like a really cool like thrash metal band from Finland, because their music is kind of fast, we wanted to have something fast in the series, so we had rally cars and all kinds of stuff like that. So yeah, it's been something to do while waiting to be able to tour again. So we've been kind of happy. I mean, it's been a lot of work, but we've been happy that we've been able to make that whole season 1, because if there wasn't Seagull's Nest or that idea, we would be just kind of rehearsing and waiting to be able to tour. So it's been super nice to meet all those musicians, and like for example Sami Jaffa, who's like just a Finnish rock legend. So I never thought I would play music with him, and to have him visit our treehouse was something really cool. And of course, we film for 2 days, but then there's some spare time, so we cook food and have a couple of beers, or might go to sauna and stuff like that. So it's a mixture of getting to know new people and making something for the band also. So it's been a really fun project, and let's hope we can make a season 2. Let's see what happens.
I watched a few episodes and it's a really cool show actually. So I liked it, and that's a really awesome tree house. So it's just, I mean, that like, where is that place? If you want to reveal that.
It's in a secret location. we haven't told anybody.
Maybe someone.
I can maybe tell you the next time we meet in LA.
Yes, then we get over. I promise I won't tell a soul.
But yeah, it was an idea like that, what to do on your spare time when you're not able to tour, and we wanted to do something that involves music, and it's something new for us too. We're not actors or we're not hosts in any way, so now we've had to kind of learn that too, that how to do stuff like that. It's been really educating actually. So I think if we make a season 2, we can progress in that area or that field too. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you're just super multi-talented in different ways, and
so what are your next steps? What are your plans coming up?
Yeah, the last time we played live was November 20th when we released our 4th album. And since then we've not been touring, so we have a gig this Friday actually in Finland with the limited seating, of course. So we're gonna play 2 shows in a row, and little by little towards the summer, I hope that we can do some live shows here and there. We still have some dates in our calendar for Sweden and some European dates. So let's hope that this whole thing settles down a little bit, and we can maybe tour abroad too, because we are more than eager. We are we are hungry to get the tour abroad, because that's usually like 2/3 of the year we spend abroad touring in Europe. We should have a tour coming up in Australia and of course North America too.
Yeah.
So since we haven't been able to tour this 4th album yet, kind of we haven't made any touring for that. So we're gonna tour a little bit and play these new tracks for live audiences at some point. And
yeah, it's starting to get to the place where there's going to be a little bit more leeway and things are opening up a little bit more, and little by little. I would be surprised if next year we couldn't have concerts and stuff, and a Finnish band visiting the US.
Yeah, that sounds a little weird. It's not going to go that way. Let's kind of settle it right now. Yeah. It's not going to go like that.
It's not. We're claiming that.
Well,
next year we'll be able to have you guys stateside.
Let's hope we'll make it to LA also.
Yeah.
Well, hey, thank you so much. This went a little longer than we talked about, but thank you for sticking around for this. It's been so interesting to hear your story a little bit, and how your process and creation of your amazing music, and get to know you a little bit. And so I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me today.
Well, thank you for having me for this interview, and it was really nice to talk to you too. And let's hope that we can maybe meet in LA in 2022.
I'm claiming that it's happening. We'll put it out into the ether, and it'll come.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, and
thank you.
Talk to you soon. All righty.
Yep.
Bye.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye. So that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in. I could have continued this much, much longer, but as they say, all good things come to an end. You can check out the Steve N Seagulls website, where they have all their videos, including episodes of Seagull's Nest. Their YouTube channel also has all this material. You can follow them on social media in general. You know what to do, and links are in the description. If you're interested in learning more about Finlandia Foundation National, you can do the same. Visit our website, check out our social media, follow this YouTube channel, and we can stay in touch until we hear that the Seagulls will be landing stateside again, and then finally meet during their next tour. Until then, so long, my friends. See you next time when Finlandia Foundation in Conversation returns with our next guest. Bye!